Hey, it's Amal, and today we're talking about something that I see a lot, and I think something that exists in all kind of relationships, or that can exist in all kind of relationships. We are talking today about triangulation and its relation with self-authority. And obviously, it's just to make a link with how much this whole dynamic has a link with loss of self-authority. Okay, so now how do you lose self-authority in relationships, and especially in that kind of dynamic? The first thing I want to say is that even though most of the time we don't enter this kind of dynamic willingly, we always have a part in that dynamic, either by not setting strong boundaries or not saying what we mean, or maybe letting other people kind of walk over us. We always have a choice, and most of the time, even though we are losing in that relationship or this dynamic, we always gain something out of it, even subconsciously. So the question is really to ask ourselves, what am I actually winning by doing this? What is it bringing me? Maybe it's a fear of conflict. Maybe it's not pissing people off. Maybe it's I don't want to be a burden, or I like to be a mediator. I like things to be peaceful, like kind of the peacemaker in the relationships. But the thing is, sometimes conflict are normal. I don't mean like violent conflict, but it can be really important sometimes to have this kind of argument, just maybe to set strong boundaries, to make other people understand your needs, and to avoid the formation of this kind of dynamic. So now I want to go a little deeper and first define what is triangulation. This is something that I've seen happen in my own life in the past, but also I've seen in the life of many people, and most of the time people know that they have the power to actually shift the dynamic, but they are scared maybe to shake the whole foundation, so they just don't say anything, and it can remain for years. People kind of sacrifice themselves to keep the peace in the relationship, and they can maintain that whole dynamic for years. So what is triangulation first? So what is triangulation? Triangulation is a dynamic most often created by a manipulative person, often with narcissistic personalities or tendencies or narcissistic traits. It's not about portraying a person as the bad guy there, okay? It's just to give you a portrait of what that dynamic can look like. So now, where that kind of dynamic can show up, most of the time you can start to see signs in families, and most of the time actually it starts there. So how does it show up in families? Most of the time this kind of dynamic starts within the family, or comes from childhood, and will tend to repeat, kind of like a cycle or a pattern, you know, and this cycle will this cycle will continue to repeat in all kind of relationship that you have until you break it consciously, you know. So how does it show up in family? Maybe you know, or maybe you don't, but in every family there's always a dynamic that start to develop where each member of the family starts to adapt to and develop a role to survive in the dynamic of the family. So one of the most known dynamic is the one where one child is seen as the golden child or the good child, and the other one is seen as the bad child or the problem child, or and most known as the scapegoat. So basically, in that whole dynamic, one child will be seen as doing great, high performer, high achiever, always doing good in life, in school, and the other child will be seen as doing everything bad. One child will be seen as not being able to do any bad, and so one child will be seen as not able to do any harm. And obviously it comes with its downside, because most of the time that child will receive all the expectation that he or she will need to live by, you know, since you're seen as good and almost perfect, you can't really mess up, or you can less easily make mistakes, because otherwise you might lose that role, or that's the way the family sees you, you know. And on the other side, the other child will be seen as bad, as the problem, or the one that always mess up, and that can do no good, you know. And every time something happened, the problem will be put on that child. So now that kind of dynamic can develop into any kind of relationship. And if you realize that you might have grown up in that kind of dynamic, whether you were that golden child or that problem child or scapegoat, that kind of dynamic tend to recreate through all relationships. So in one form or another, until that whole pattern become conscious or come back to awareness. Now, how do you shift that whole dynamic? If you start to notice that you are part of that toxic dynamic, you can choose to reverse it at any time. The thing is, in each toxic dynamic, there's the perpetrator, or the person who create that dynamic, but there's also all the people around that actually participate in it. And the only way to get out of that dynamic is to actually stop playing the role. Now, how do you reverse it? First is to start becoming aware of your role in the dynamic. We often participate in dynamics subconsciously, because it answers the reality we believe in. And it's important to ask ourselves, what role am I playing there? This is how you can take back your self-authority. In that kind of dynamic, most often the problem is that you lose self-authority because you forget that you have a role in it. And if you have a role in creating that cycle, you can take back your power. You can take back your self-authority. The second step is rupture with self-authority. Not rupture as breakup, although it might be necessary in some case, but I mean rupture by choosing consciously to stop participating in it. It can come in many forms. Maybe you have a conversation you have to have with some people. Maybe you need to set stronger boundaries. Most of the time, it will come with communication, with that conversation you need to make or to have with that person. And I know it might be scary, but you need to have that conversation if you want to get out of that pattern. And then if communication doesn't work, then maybe reassess the importance of that relation. Because most of the time, if the people around you can't respect your needs or can't respect your boundaries, then maybe they don't really have a place in your life. And that's when the choice to actually stop that relationship or maybe reduce it or seeing those people less frequently might be a solution. Okay, so now I want to give a small example. Let's say we have person A and person B. So let's say person A, who wants you to come hang out with that person B that you don't get along with. Let's say that person B doesn't really like you or treats you badly, and you chose to stop hanging out with them. But that person A keeps bringing that person B into the relationship and force you to come into that whole dynamic, which is not healthy for you, and you actually realized it. In that case, you really need to have a clear conversation with that person A and to tell them that you don't mind them hanging out with that person B, but it has to be if you're not there. So basically, you tell that person A that you don't want to be near that person B. It has to be clear, and that even though you still want to for them to be a part of your life, you won't enter that kind of dynamic ever again. And normally, if that person actually cares about you, they should understand. You can make it clear, you can repeat it if needed, but at some point, if that person doesn't understand your needs and doesn't respect your boundaries, maybe reconsider the place of that person in your life. That doesn't mean cut it completely, but maybe see them less frequently. Because you shouldn't force yourself to stay with a person that you don't get along, or a person that actually don't respect you, you know. And on the other hand, you shouldn't let someone keep you in that kind of toxic dynamic, especially if you know it's toxic, or if it has an impact in your mental health, in your health, or in your life in general. And that kind of strategy can be applied in any kind of relationship. I've seen it in romantic or love relationship. I've seen it in families, in work situation a lot, especially in culture companies. A lot of this kind of situation can happen. And yeah, the only way to actually change that dynamic is to get clear about where that person is starting to cross your boundaries and where the disrespect begins. I've seen this in my own life, but also in other people's life. And I've seen also how this whole thing can shift, and how you can shift that whole dynamic once you decide that you won't be participating in it. And yeah, remember, it's all about self-authority. The moment something or someone decide of who you are based on how they perceive you, your authority is already being outsourced. And that's how you lose your power. To regain your power, you have to become aware of that pattern and decide that you will not let anyone change how you are being perceived. Not how you are perceiving yourself, or how the external world is perceiving you. And it's also realizing that you have a choice of how you are being perceived. Nobody can choose that for you. If that resonates with you, you might want to go a little deeper, and that's exactly what I do in my program, the Self-Authority Reset. If you're interested, you can book a call with me for private session, or you can join one of the next Self-Authority Reset group. I will put all the link in the description. I hope that video helped you, and I will see you in my next video.